Hey everyone, welcome to Piccadilly Stamp, and I'm Pamela Pick. If you're new to my channel, please click subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of my tutorials. Leave a comment down below if you like what I did today. So today what I have for you is just a quick video of how to. I have been getting messages and emails of people asking me, how do you clean your blocks? How do you clean your stamp pad? How do you clean your scissors? How do you clean stuff? So I thought I'd make you how to clean your implements video. So to start really quick, I just want to point out that Stampin' Up! Has this wonderful chamois. Now, I've seen some other chamois, not quite as thick as this. What I love about this one is that it is thick enough that when your stamps go into it, instead of the thinner ones, your stamps go into it, you can kind of turn and you can kind of get into your grooves. So I love that about this. I only use water on this. I use no cleaning solution whatsoever, just water. If you notice, I have one side that's pretty black from just constant use, and the other side is some stuff is seeped through. There's been a few things that have been stamped on that side. I use them differently, and I'm going to show you that in this video. So I just squeeze it out with water. If you use cold water, you'll get kind of the blues and greens. If you use hot water, you'll get like the purples and reds and oranges out of the chamois. But even though it looks like this, this is perfectly clean. I just cleaned this. Now, I keep it in the stamp case. We sell these cases. It doesn't seal tightly, so nothing molds for me. I've never had a problem with either of them molding, but because the case doesn't seal airtight, which is good, they will dry out from time to time. All you have to do to wet it and rehydrate it is just run it under tap water. That's it. So I use these for quite a few things. Cleaning up. So for the first thing, stamps. So especially with the photopolymer, I hear about stamps. Oh, my stamp is stained. Well, I understand that. And I have a really dirty black here that I'm putting this on, but let's start with stamps. This is what I do. That's a clean stamp. I myself personally, and I'm just going to show you here with this little piece of white, I like them stained because then I can kind of see my image if it was completely clear. Now we did sell, we don't anymore, but we did sell one of these stamp pads that clean them if you wanted something that cleans them. But let me just tell you about this and the ones out there. This can dry them out if you don't rinse them with water thoroughly. So I never worry about staining on my photopolymer stamps. I worry about how good of an image I'm going to get. So as you can see, this is stained. I could clean it with that and it'd take some of it off. Excuse me. But I don't, because I myself like to see through the stamp and not have that clear image so I can see through it to know where I'm lining up on. Okay, so for cleaning my stamps, this is with our regular classic ink. I will stamp it on my project and then run it through this, which just has water. My next question is, what do you do with craft ink? Well, I'm not sure what the recommended is, but I actually clean it off on here too. Now let me explain something with craft ink. It's a little bit different. So it dries a little bit different and you use it. We have a white craft ink. And so then you'll have white on your chamois. It will clean the image very well, your stamp image very well. But then what I usually do is go run my chamois under some water and squeeze it out, because when I go back with my next stamp and I go to clean it, now I have white craft ink on here. So I just clean it off, it washes off, and no problem whatsoever. So that's how I clean my stamps. I also use it with StazOn. They say not to. I don't know why, because it's already stained. It's not like I'm not going to get it any more stained. It comes off perfectly, no problem. I don't use the StazOn cleaner on my stamps. I mean, this one I'm probably not going to put in, you know, my black or brown StazOn. But I use the chamois to clean them off all of them. Okay, so that's cleaning off stamps. Now blocks. Now I'm going to stand up here because I can't tell if you guys can see. Can you see how dirty my block is? I got a dirty block, and I think on one of them there's, oh, I might have wiped it off. I had some ink on there. Let's see, here's another one. Now, some of this is scratching because I use them quite a bit. I'm always in my stamp room, and I am stamping daily. So here's what I do. You can take these and you can put these in a hot soapy bath and then wash them off with a soft towel. That's fine. I find that they're slick. I find they get away from me in a hot soapy. Just dish soap and wash them off. That is fine. This is my favorite tip though, is alcohol pads. Now you can use these, or you can just have some rubbing alcohol and a soft towel or cotton ball. Just having trouble coming up with that. Now you can see how filthy this is on both sides. So rub this on. It doesn't dry out the block. It's an acrylic block. It's fine. But look at this. I don't know if you can see on that other side when I'm going through on the other side. I mean, I am getting this nice and shiny. And the alcohol dries very clean. It takes off the ink really nicely. I don't usually dry them. I just let them air dry. It's dry like now in minutes. Crystal clear. Okay, now that's a little bit newer block. Here's one that's a little bit older and has some scratches. And so it's still going to be crystal clear other than my scratches. So this, to me, I can go through and do several blocks with one of these. So here's a couple. These are D-size blocks. And so it takes off glue and everything, and it just dries so quick. And it's already drying. So it has some of the scratches showing through, but nice and clean. So that's how I clean my blocks. Stamps, blocks, we covered that. Another thing that I have been asked is about stamp or shears, snips. So we used to sell these. We don't anymore. You can find these at most hobby stores. This is a adhesive remover, and so it's going to get a little bit gummy here on the edge. But how they say to start it, now notice I'm not using my snips for this, is you just kind of cut a little bit off this edge because it's hard at first. I have two of these, and I've had them for about 3 years. So I've cut that little bit of the edge, and now that lets kind of a little bit of sticky out of there. So I'm going to put these up. Sometimes when we're doing projects, we get a little bit of glue and stuff. I go right through here and clean it up just like this. These cost no more than $3. If you're spending more than $3, you need to try another place. I found them at like Michael's, that type of stuff, like a hobby store. Okay, that's it. So now all the glue is off of my snips and they're fresh and clean. You can wipe them down if you have something that isn't glue and you have your clean chamois. You can wipe them down. It'll take ink off of it if that's what you're wondering. Wipe it with the chamois. But now I have clean snips, so for next use. And while I have this, because I really like this, I purposely took a scrap piece of paper and I put, see, I have glue stuck to that. How many times have we, let me get it nice and grody so you can see, have we smudged our projects with a little bit of glue? So now you take that edge that you cut and you kind of slowly rub it over here. It takes a minute. You want to wait till your glue dries. Now what it's going to do, you see this kind of little boogery thing? That's what you want it to do. It is I'm kind of doing circles and back and forth until it rubs away. Now you're left with these little boogery things that you can just pick off for next time. And now, I'm not hiding it or anything, but you have glue off. And see, I can feel just a little bit still when I ran my finger over. You have your glue. Now this would be like your Tombow liquid glue. Maybe you squeeze too much, and I've actually done it on a finished product on my card, or like your tape runner type glues. And it does take a little bit of work, but if it saves your project from having that smudge, perfect, right? Okay, so I've explained this and where to get them. I wish we still sold them, but people didn't buy them very much, I think, and so they kind of took them off of the market. But you can still find them, and I love them. Sometimes, now I got this off of Amazon. It's a sand eraser. You can get these in art stores too. Sometimes this Tombow sand eraser, I got, I want to say 2 of them off of Amazon for $5. It's been a while now, but I love it. This will sometimes take it off too, but this is like a sand eraser, so it actually kind of removes a little bit of paper. Doesn't take nearly as much work, but it does remove a little bit of paper. This is good too if you get just a little bit of ink on your project. You can kind of sand it off smoothly. It's rough to the texture, so this will take off a little bit also. Okay, so we've got blocks, stamps, chamois. Let's go on to this. This is our Stampin' Pierce mat. So you pierce on it, and maybe you get some ink or something on it. Now it might stain it, but all you have to do, and this is where I use the other side. This is why I keep this side of my chamois more clean than this one, because then I can come back in and just really quickly wipe it down. And I have some old stuff on here. That's it. This thing wipes down, and you now have, even if it's stained, you have your and you can see what's come off. You know, so that's you can also use a baby wipe if you want to. So that's your Stampin' Pierce mat for when you're stamping your photopolymer. So I'll set that aside. Oh, I'll bring this out. So for the Stamparatus, you can clean the Stamparatus plates with your chamois if you get ink on them. In fact, that's the way I do it. But say you get, like, there's some glue. Again, you're just going to take a little bit of alcohol. It doesn't hurt it. It doesn't do anything to it except pull up that glue. So I can go through, there's a big glue spot that's over here. I can go through and clean my plate so that it's clear with just one little swipe. I usually generally maybe do this. See, I didn't even get all that, did I? I might have to put a little elbow grease here onto some of this glue. I generally just use the Stampin' Chamois. Now, same thing. This is the deluxe mat that comes with it, and I love this mat. I use this all the time, but you can do the same thing. You can use this, and you can use the Stampin' Chamois. If it's just a little fresh ink that you want to get off of there, use the Stampin' Chamois. If it is a little bit older, you might want to use something like the alcohol. Okay, so that's that. What else do we got? Okay, this is another one I get asked about. This is our silicone mat. This thing is awesome. So I purposely spread glue on here. I must like making these glue boogers or something, but I've spread it on kind of thick so you can see this stuff rolls off. it just rolls off. I can put it into my little trash. I had quite a bit of that on there. You just let it dry and you just roll it off. Now, I like to run this under the sink, just plain water, maybe a little bit of dish soap if you want to like get all these little crummies off. You can use, when you are using a hot glue gun, these things just snap. The glue just snaps right off and it's good to go. But because it is a silicone mat, it'll pick up dust and stuff. And so the best way is to use just water, run it under, but don't dry it. Like let it set on something, don't dry it. You can also just go over with your chamois. And then like this, now because I did that, I'm going to look at how much that picked up off of that. I'm going to actually have to rinse this because I don't want this on my stamped images, you know, but you can use your chamois to clean it, both sides. And then before I run my stamp over it to clean my next stamp, I'm going to get, I don't know if you guys can see it as well as I can, but I'm going to get all of that rinsed out of my chamois so that it won't go onto my stamped edge. And now I don't have anything on this. It's just perfectly clean. Okay, so that's how to do that. And then last but not least, your stamp pad. Some of us have pets, and maybe a cat hair or a dog hair might float on here. Sometimes when we get these little white flecks are the plastic as we're kind of working that slide in, it'll come off, and so you'll see some of the plastics here. Sometimes there's just dust, sometimes there's glitter. I mean, let's face it, glitter gets everywhere. I just take good old-fashioned masking tape, and cut it off. I should have cut a little bit bigger piece, but you just go like this. You can use it several times. It's got some sticky to it. Okay. If you need to do it more, you can. Now that's just one time over, and that is perfectly clean. But if you need to do, you know, run it over again, you can run it over again. So these are just some quick little tips of how to clean some of your implements and products. I hope that it was informational for you, and then that helps you with keeping your blocks and your stamps and your mats clean, and your scissors or your snips. Let me think if there was anything else. Oh, taking the glue off. If that gave you some good ideas. So thanks for stopping by today and watching me, and I will catch you next time. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.